All right, I am out of the 49ers locker room following that huge 30-24 win over the Dallas Cowboys. First person that I saw as I was walking down the hallway here at Levi's Stadium toward the locker room was Christian McCaffrey. He obviously didn't play, but he was on hand and he grinned, shook hands, chatted very briefly. Christian McCaffrey, I believe, remains on track to return for the 49ers when they exit this bye week. They have hit the bye week with a win. They have course corrected. This was a lot, I thought, like games against the Rams in 2021 and 2022 to course correct. I'll explain a little bit more in a bit, but the fact that I saw Christian before I stepped into the 49ers locker room and the fact that's trending in the right direction is huge for the 49ers because it looks like they can only get stronger from this point out. Isaac Guerendo played a really good game today, but there was a glaring error in pass protection that allowed the Cowboys a chance to win this game when, he just didn't pick up the blitz. And Brock Purdy, one of the plays of the game, in a game where he was elite, Brock Purdy was really good, but I don't think enough people are talking about the fact that he made sure not to fumble even though he was blindsided. That's really, really difficult on the pass protection whiff from Isaac Guerendo. 49ers also still seem to struggle to pick up 1 yard when they need a yard with a standard run. You see Purdy sneaking all the time. You see them running creative stuff. This dates back before this game. We saw a lot of it last week too. I think Christian McCaffrey is a good cure for that problem. So getting Christian back is going to be huge for the 49ers. That's what's on tap. I talked to Trent Williams in the locker room, and he said that this is the freshest he's ever been at this point of the season. He's like, yeah, because I showed up so late. So he held out. That hurt the 49ers early, but it might actually help the 49ers here down the stretch because Trent Williams, at my age, at 36, is fresh. Christian McCaffrey, obviously no spring chicken either, but he might be fresh or fresher than he's ever been when he returns for the 49ers. This is a team looking to hit its stride down the stretch. And, I hate to say I told you so. I kind of love it, actually. I told you so. I've been sitting here saying this is a marathon and not a sprint. I've been citing past turnarounds that the 49ers have made. And, people just irrationally start to pile on online and they just don't know the game as well. But they want to be emotional about things and they want to say, oh, yeah, it's not going to happen this time. They want to ignore all the previous data of rationally approaching things, treating this like a marathon and not a sprint, and the 49ers' track record of turning things around. And again, we have another I told you so moment. The 49ers did turn it around today. Offensively, played a hell of a game. They were at 7.5 yards per play today. NFL lead is 7.2 yards per play. So the 49ers were playing top-level offense as far as yards per play went. Does that mean that they played a perfect game? No. And Brock Purdy even talked about it after. Didn't play a perfect game. He was a little inaccurate. I talked about it in the instant reaction in that first half. But then, on National Tight Ends Day, George Kittle was making his money. And Brock Purdy was delivering on the money in the second half, both through the air and on the ground as the 49ers' second leading rusher. Purdy, 8 carries, 56 yards. One of those carries was not by design. A lot of them were him escaping the pocket and making things happen with his legs. Every one, essentially. But there was one in particular that really stood out to me, and that was when Brock Purdy had a screen set up to Deebo Samuel. Screen wasn't there. Would have been a pick six potentially had he thrown the football. Instead, he tucked the ball, ran. I asked Brock about it down there right now, and he said, yeah, that was all improvisation. That shows the mastery that Brock Purdy is bringing to the table. That's a veteran play. That's not just avoiding the negative, but delivering the positive. That's what an elite quarterback does. I think anybody who knows the game considers Brock Purdy to be a top-end quarterback at this point, and we saw so much of that today. 18 of 26, 260 yards, a 114.3 rating. 14 for 85 from Isaac Guerendo at 6 yards a carry. The confidence that Guerendo has is just in front of our eyes is blossoming. Every single time he steps out there, it's greater, right? At the start of the season, he was indecisive, he was tentative. Then he was able to put his foot into the ground and bolt through the line in Seattle. I thought that was a huge carry for him where he slid at the end. And today he slid at the end as well. That was, I think, on his longest carry, 19 yards. But there were a couple big runs in the second half where Isaac Guerrero looked as fast and as decisive as ever for the 49ers. You know, it's a big difference when they have a chance to integrate all of their receivers that they actually use in the game plan. Last week, they didn't have that luxury when both Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk exited the games. Deebo, by the way, rib injury. We'll know a little bit more about it tomorrow, but he looked okay in the locker room, wasn't staggering around or anything. Plus, the 49ers have the bye week coming. But they had the fair chance to integrate Pearsall into what they were doing. They had the fair chance to integrate Jacob Cowing into what they were doing. Although Cowing today did not get a target, but Pearsall was very much a part of their game plan. First target went to him, 4 catches, 38 yards, plus the jet sweep. And Deebo Samuel got 4 screen passes in this game. I talked so much about the need to reestablish the short passing game. They successfully did that, to the point where Dallas was gambling on the short passing game when they're in that lane on the screen to Deebo Samuel, and Brock Purdy tucked the ball and ran with it instead. Kittle, 6 catches, 128 yards. He is now 3rd all-time for the 49ers. Defensively, you know, we can go drive by drive, and I have it here. There was that 4-drive stretch in the middle of the game where they didn't allow a first down. Guys like Sam Elkawanu were winning. Nick Bosa had a really good game for the 49ers today, single-handedly dominating on the right side against Terrence Steele, the right tackle for the Cowboys. He gave him a lot of trouble last year. Bosa gave Steele a lot of trouble, gave him more trouble in this game today. Fred Warner was in the backfield. I mean, the 49ers did a good job slowing the run. Dallas didn't bring a very formidable rushing attack, and they were forcing Dak Prescott into severe discomfort throughout that middle stretch of the game after some struggles early on 3rd and 10 that shouldn't have happened. That was a bad reflection of Nick Sorensen early in the game. But then all of a sudden, Dallas started firing off easy completion after easy completion, and they got right back into the game. It got obviously really hairy there at the end. I think how you perform when push absolutely meets shove in the NFL, though, is who you are. And when push absolutely met shove, Dallas down 6 coming off 2 straight touchdown drives, the 49ers stonewalled them. Deommodore Lenoir, top-level corner. Charvarius Ward making some plays in this game, although there was that defensive pass interference that hurt San Francisco. Jair Brown and Renardo Green ran into each other. That happened to be a bad break for the 49ers. I don't think that's going to repeat itself. But still, they had to hold on for dear life at the very end. But when push came to shove, they won up front. Nick Sorensen brought 5 rushers on 3rd and 4th down at the end. Didn't let Dak sit back there and pick them apart with just 4 rushers. The adjustments were noted. And I have to say, in the big picture of things, the 49ers under DeMeco Ryans in 2021, he as a first-year defensive coordinator, he really found his stride in November with the blitzes. And maybe Nick Sorensen found his stride in that final drive of today's game. It hadn't been perfect for Nick Sorensen, but the defense has flashed, and they delivered when it absolutely mattered today. And guess what? Special teams, they've been bad entering this year, but they delivered for San Francisco entering today. Team win for the 49ers. They needed that. They're 4-4. Then now they're set to go on that November run. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. We can say, I told you so. You can tell whoever you want to. If you watch this channel and you have the rational takes about the 49ers, you can go off on a bunch of I told you so's. I give you permission. But the 49ers put together a complimentary effort today. It was imperfect, but it was good enough to get that win. Beating the Cowboys is always a big deal for this franchise. Now they have the bye week. I get to go write about Brock Purdy for the San Francisco Standard now, and maybe the 49ers will pick up some pieces at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline, which is on November 5th. We'll be sure to cover that extensively. You can start dropping your trade ideas, what you think the 49ers might need, into the comment section. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the tape. We're going to rationally analyze everything that happened today, see where the 49ers can get better. But even while leaving a lot of opportunities on the table in the first half, they were explosive throughout this game. They've got juggernaut potential on offense. And if you have that in this league, you have juggernaut potential as a team. I don't know where the ceiling of the 49ers defense is. That's something I have to study a little bit more. but I do sense that Nick Sorensen is improving as this goes. D'Amico Ryans did too. Big step for the 49ers. Another chapter in the novel of this 2024 season. They beat the Cowboys 30-24. There's your intel from inside the 49ers locker room.